From Memorial Stadium in Latrobe, Pennsylvania tonight, it's a matchup between the Wildcats of Greater Latrobe and the Penn Hills Indians. A very pleasant good evening to you, along with my broadcast partner, Dylan Cleland. I'm Bill Navari, and it's a beautiful night for football in western Pennsylvania. Dylan, tonight, the Indians trying to get off the snide while the Wildcats try to keep their winning ways going.
Yeah, coming into this season, obviously, Penn Hills, the champions last year, but suffering that Week 0 loss to Pine Richland a week ago. Really, it was just a story of Pine Richland scoring and Penn Hills not being able to. A quick early 14-0 lead for Pine Richland in that game. They tacked on another 7 early in the second half, and that was it. Just 177 yards of offense for Penn Hills. And Eddie McKissick making his first career start, 13 for 22 and 152 yards, but being held without a touchdown.
It was a little deceptive, the 21-0. Pine Richland jumped up 14-0 very quickly. Fourth down play, they threw a long touchdown pass, got the onside kick, threw another long touchdown pass. Bam, bam, it was 14-0. But at that point on, Penn Hills kind of matched Pine Richland, series for series. Pine Richland did score early in the third to go up 21-0. But the Indians kind of moved the ball a bit, but they stalled in the red zones. McKissick, as you said, just started his first start last week, needs to understand that he doesn't need to carry this entire team on his shoulders coming in here and just go with the system. But the offensive line last week didn't give him a whole lot of help. They were in his face most of the night. So hopefully they work some things out to the Penn Hills Indians that they're able to fix that this week. Latrobe, now they're excited this week. They came off a win last week at Derry, and they're believing they're for real. But if you look at the roster, it's a very young Latrobe football team.
It is a young Latrobe team, but as you mentioned, coming off of last week, for the first time in 3 years, they defeated Derry in that Week 0 matchup, and it was a thriller. 20-14, went to overtime. Braden Crosby, who we'll see at quarterback tonight for the Wildcats, had a 27-yard screen pass to Logan Gustafson. We'll also see him tonight in overtime for the win. And so, as you said, they feel that they can compete in 5A, and it's, in my opinion, the best classification by far. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams match up, and no better way to do it than with a non-conference matchup in Week 1.
Absolutely. Latrobe in the Big East Conference, they have some big dogs in there with them. Obviously with Gateway and McKeesport, they have Penn Trafford, Franklin Regional. They might be able to be that fifth team. They got into the playoffs last year, and they ran into that Penn Hills juggernaut in Week 1. The Indians are on their way to a state championship. But this is you have two playoff teams here, this defending state champs, and another team that did make it to the playoffs last season in 5A, which is probably, as you said, the best conference as far as parity, I believe.
I truly believe that, too. Like you said, I mean, you have Gateway, obviously, that strong team. McKeesport always coming around as well. All of those teams played last week in Week 0. The only one that didn't, Franklin Regional, and they'll be getting started tonight finally with their season actually at Plum. So it'll be interesting to see how that conference shakes down, but also how the classification of 5A breaks down.
I think the Indians are still a little bitter about the conference setup. Their conference opponents, they border Plum, Gateway, and Woodland Hills, and they don't have any of them in their conference. But, they're moving out on the road. They're coming out. It's the first time the Indians have been out here in Latrobe, I believe, since they were part of the AAA Foothills Conference some years ago. But it's great to be back out here at Memorial Stadium. A beautiful field, one of the rare grass fields still left in the WPIAL. It's going to be great to see these kids play on it. And the way it's been a wet summer, the grass is green. It's in great shape. The Steelers played here earlier during training camp. They didn't tear it up too badly. And the field looks great. It's going to be great to see a football game on grass for a change. I remember back in the days when everybody played on grass, it was fun to see a game on turf. Now it's, oh my gosh, the nostalgic feeling of seeing a game on grass. Latrobe won the toss. They will receive, and the Indians will kick off. We are underway here in Latrobe. High, short kickoff. Picked up and going down at the 32-yard line is Gustafson. They're starting to mark him at the Latrobe's own 34-yard line. Crosby in the shotgun, single man to his right. Crosby's going to look to set up the screen, throws underneath, has a man wide open. He'll cross the 35, breaks a tackle across the 40, into the secondary. Turned a nice short gain into a long first down play into Penn Hills territory to the 48-yard line. 18 yards. Gustafson, who returned the kickoff with the reception, and just like that, Latrobe picks up a first down.
Looks like Roach was able to come in to make the stop for Penn Hills, but not after an impressive pickup through the air.
Crosby will go up under center, a rare scene these days. Send a man in motion. We'll hit the dive play right up the middle for a nice couple of 2-3 yards to the 45-yard line. And that's Gustafson, the workhorse for the Latrobe Wildcats. We'll give him 3. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 7. What a beautiful night out here for football. Say a chance of rain, but right now the skies are still blue. There are some clouds, but right now it doesn't look like we're going to get any of that. Bobby Fetter on the read option. And he'll pick up another 3 yards.
Cam Hopkins in on the tackle there for the Indians.
Of course, the Indians do have head coach John Ladon back on the sidelines. He missed last week's game. Crosby rolls to his right, flush, under pressure from behind, gets a pass away, pass complete behind the defense, up the sideline, inside the 10, touchdown! Latrobe Wildcats. Dakota Morrison with the reception, and the Wildcats take the early lead.
Barely getting that pass away, Crosby felt the pressure coming there for sure. But once he got it away, Morrison just took off down the sideline.
Touchdown coming with 10 minutes to go here in quarter number 1. And the kick is up and good. 10 minutes to go, first quarter. Penn Hills trailing the Latrobe Wildcats. It's Latrobe 7, Penn Hills nothing. You're watching the Penn Hills Indians Football Network here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Morrison was just able to find a little bit of a seam behind the defense, and the defensive back in front of him, I think he went for the interception, but it just went over him and into Morrison's hands, and he was just able to scamper up that sideline. He did have one man to beat, but he had a blocker. It's a 42-yard score for Latrobe. Just like last week, the Indians fall behind quickly. Now we'll see how that young offense responds.
Definitely not something you're used to seeing, is that quick scoring in football and in high school. But saw it last week a little bit, as you said, with Penn Hills, and again here tonight.
Yeah, these young bucks for Latrobe, they're not intimidated at all by the defending state champs coming in here. Of course, Penn Hills lost 25 players from last season, so a lot of new faces out there. Robbie Laufer kicks off, and it's picked up at the 15-yard line. And the Indians will turn it out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. It's Dylan Bennett. And we'll see how the Indians respond. Indians bring on Dante Pollard late. Indians keep it on the ground early, just dive into the pile, maybe a yard for Germer Howard.
Dylan Gustafson met him right there at the line. Gustafson, a safety, 5'9", 150 pounds in his junior year.
Gustafson has been on in like just about every play. Made the tackle on the kickoff too.
Handful of two-way players for Latrobe this evening.
Gustafson, just a sophomore. Anthony Grimes comes in motion this way. McKissick bobbles the snap. Will get it over to Grimes. Tries to get to the outside. Will be close to the first down. Picks up about 8 yards. Will be a yard short. And it'll be a 3rd down and 1 for the Penn Hills Indians. Ball at right on the Penn Hills 40-yard line.
Kyle Brewer able to wrestle down for the tackle.
McKissick again in the shotgun has Derek Topek behind him. Grimes will come in motion this way. It's going to be Topek. Hit at the line, dives ahead, stretches out. Looks like he will have the first down. Nice second effort there by Topek. He was hit at the line, and he was able to stretch that ball ahead across the line of gain, and the Indians have a first down. The Indians' running game last week just did not get on track, and he's trying to establish that here tonight. Of course, the Wildcats trying to prevent that. McKissick will pitch back to Grimes deep in the pocket. Grimes has a lane across the 50. We'll have a first down in Wildcat territory. Picks up about 13 yards. And the Indians get back-to-back first downs.
Logan Gustafson in on the tackle, so we have Dylan and Logan Gustafson both in that on that last line of defense for the Wildcats.
Dom Burdick comes in motion this side, joining Akeem Snell. Pistol formation for the Indians. McKissick keep it on the ground. And the Indians will spin out to about the 40-yard line. Topek will pick up about 6.
Alex Aiello in to make the tackle.
I'll take 6 down. Any team will take 6 yards on first down. Anytime. They set up a lot of possibilities on second down to be a little creative, but you need to stay in that pistol formation. Again, it's Topek deep. That's Howard left, and it's going to be Topek. And he just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Nice job by the Latrobe defense to get the penetration. For no gain, and it's 3rd and 4.
Tucker and up. They wanted to sneak in there and make that stop.
Very scenic field here, Memorial Stadium, in the heart of Latrobe, PA. Grimes goes in motion right to left. They're going to try to get it back to Grimes. It'll pass downfield. Has a man to pass. Complete for a first down inside the 30. Going up and getting it was Dante Pollard. Dylan Gustafson with the tackle. We're going to mark him at the 27-yard line. It's a 14-yard pickup.
Pollard showing his abilities there to get up and get the ball. Sometimes that pass isn't right there on the chest, but able to make it work.
The way they brought Grimes in motion this way, I thought it was going to be a little throwback pass to him. But they went downfield, did the Indians. Indians stay on the ground. Go left inside the 25, inside the 20, close to a first down. Goes Topek for about 9.
See Kyle Brewer, the linebacker for Greater Latrobe, get in there once again, standing at 5'8", 150 pounds.
Play clock rolling under 10 seconds. Indians need to get moving. McKissick keeps it on the read. We'll have the first down inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line for about 6. Held that in the gut of Arlen Thompson for the longest time, so he decided to pull it out and keep it himself. McKissick again keeps it himself. It looks like he may lose a yard back to the 14.
You see Brewer get another good jump to get in there. And as you said, stop McKissick behind the line.
Second down and 11 for the Indians. Clock running, 4:25 to go here in the opening quarter. 7-0 Latrobe. Second down and 11. Thompson is deep. It's Gamar Howard to McKissick's right, and it's going to be Thompson into the pile, drives ahead. Going to pick up maybe 2, and the Indians will have a third down and long.
Brewer and Drake Clayton we see get in there to make the stop.
Snell and Grimes will split to the near side. Top of your screen is Noel Roach. Howard and Thompson flank McKissick. 3rd and 9 Indians. McKissick straight drop, throws over the middle, has a man close to the goal line. Touchdown, Penn Hills. Touchdown, Tony Grimes. The Indians convert on 3rd down, 13-yard connection, McKissick to Grimes. And the Indians now trail 7-6.
Shows a lot about McKissick there to stay in there and make that throw with the defender as he was being hit. Good job to complete the pass and get into the end zone.
Silverman, who has a leg to try the point after. Grimes will hold. Kick is up. Kick is good. 3:22 to go, first quarter. We are tied. Latrobe 7, Penn Hills 7. Here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. We're going to ask our stat guy, Jeff, down here to our right. When was the last time the Indians made an extra point? In Steubenville. That was it last? Oh, they had to make one after that one, but it seems like it.
First one and never again. Didn't matter.
Latrobe scoring drive was 4 plays, 66 yards in 2 minutes. The Indians, 12 plays, 69 yards in 6 minutes and 38 seconds. Silverman to kick off for the second time this season. Kick high, deep, taken at the 5-yard line. Cameron Stevens looks for somewhere to go across the 20. He'll get out to the 23-yard line. No, I don't expect Latrobe to really do any much different than what they did in their opening drive. I mean, it only took them 4 plays to get into the end zone.
Yeah, we saw from Latrobe last week a very back-and-forth type game, 7-7, 14-14 before they did get the win in overtime. So maybe that's what we're looking at here again tonight.
Crosby creeps it on the ground. Gustafson finds himself a little lane. Is able to dive ahead out to the 29-yard line. A little innocuous play, picks up 5 yards.
There's a handful of Indians that he was able to sneak through, pick up a couple.
Crosby has Logan Gustafson to his right. Loses a snap, but a whistle comes in. False start against the Wildcats. That'll bring up that'll negate the 5 yards on the first down, so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Joe Kulik, the referee tonight. Sets things up for a 2nd down and 10 for the Wildcats on their own 24-yard line. Crosby takes the snap, hands it off to Gustafson, who moves to the left side, breaks a tackle, and now he's taking off down the sideline.
Gustafson is gone. Indians finally catch up with him inside the 10-yard line. Holy cow.
Wow.
'69-yard run.
Wow.
And again, another innocuous play.
It's like they're just barely weaving through the defense and then finding a hole and having space.
Well, that's how you do it.
It's happened twice. It's kind of interesting to see how they've been able to sneak through a couple holes.
Bobby Fetter. A little bit of quarterback roulette. Get maybe a yard. So the Wildcats have had plays of 45 and 69 yards here in the first quarter. Crosby back in a quarterback. And inside the 5-yard line, A.J. Rock. Just to the 5-yard line.
A.J. carries the rock down to the 5-yard line.
It'll be 3rd and goal now for the Wildcats.
Brought down by number 10, Derek Kovic.
Latrobe will have to run another play here in the first quarter as we're rolling under 30 seconds to go. We're tied at 7. Wildcats looking to add on to it. Fatter rolls this way. Pass incomplete, but penalty flags fly. Now here's the interesting thing. It's going to be half the distance to the goal penalty. Is that an automatic first down, Jeff, or is that just a yardage? Yeah, it's half the distance to the goal. Remains 3rd down.
I don't think I don't think it's an automatic first down in any case in high school. I could be wrong, but
No, it's still third down, so it's not. So A.J. Rock to the goal line. Did he get in? No, it's going to be fourth down. So it'll be fourth and goal from the 1. So saying college and high school, if you can get beat by the goal line or in the end zone, take the penalty.
Right.
It's not a spot foul.
Right.
And it's not an automatic first down either. But nonetheless, the quarter winds down, and after one period of play, we are knotted. Latrobe 7, Penn Hills 7 here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Hey, Mr. Mark. Oh, look at this guy. Lose your eyes, help me.
Please be sure to check out the Greater Latrobe Athletic website at www.wildcatsathletics.com for all your latest scores, updates, and photos of your favorite Wildcat team. Also, you can catch Wildcat Athletics on Twitter at GLCatAthletics
Sneak by.
for the most up-to-date info.
Just sneak by.
Favorite
What's that?
I said you just kind of sneak by.
Yeah, how you
I just kind of
doing?
heard up, looked up, and I see you going by. How are you?
Good, good. How's Joey doing?
Joe's coaching at Plum.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He was at Summit Academy. He just left. He's leaving here Tuesday, and he's going to teach at Plum.
Oh, good. Good for him.
Fourth and goal, Wildcats at the 1 yard line. And it looks like second effort. Does he get in? No, they're going to say no. They're going to roll him down. The Indians stop him at the goal line. It'll be, yes. I don't know. They didn't give him the stretch there, Dylan.
They did not. It was a solid second attempt, but all for nothing.
Officials ruled the forward progress was stopped. And the stretch came after the whistle. Kind of a quick whistle, maybe. But the line judge on the near side went running in and said no. He rolled him down at the 1 yard line. Good news for the Indians, they stopped them at the 1. Bad news is they're at the 1.
99 to go now, but no, that's a big stop though. On early on in the game, still, you know.
You don't want to go backwards on this play.
No.
Howard out of his own end zone. Does he get out? No, he doesn't. No, they're going to roll. He fumbled, and it's a touchdown from Latrobe. Oh, the Indians tried to run outside. Latrobe stretched it out. Howard had nowhere to go. I don't know what happened with as far as the fumble. I didn't see it. We were blocked by the sea of everybody. But still, I'm not sure why the Indians just didn't try to dive ahead. You know, traditional dive play up for a couple of yards to give them some room.
You couldn't see much either because initially, like you said, you're thinking it's a safety and there's a big crowd around.
Kick is up and through. 11:45 to go. First half, Latrobe 14, Penn Hills 7. The Indians make the stop on fourth down. Latrobe does not get the call for the touchdown on the stretch. And then the following play, Latrobe gets the touchdown on the turnover. And we go back and forth.
Weird turn of events there, for sure.
An unfortunate turn of events for Penn Hills, a fortunate one for the Wildcats. So the Wildcats, Robbie Laufer will kick off once again. Kickoff will hit at the 20, roll. Picked up by Dylan Bennett on the right side. He finds himself a lane across the 30. Finally out of bounds with the penalty flags. So one back at the 12 and another one at the 33. And 2 Wildcats are down. So the Indians are going to be marched back inside their own 10-yard line following the penalty. They're going to take the one back at the 12-yard line.
Can't see either of the numbers, either of the Wildcats that are down.
Well, one comes up and off. That's Raymond Henderson. See a beautiful atmosphere here in Latrobe, PA. Mr. Rogers' hometown. I believe that was his church right there, the Presbyterian Church.
On the left of your screen. Yes. Yeah, I've been up this way for sure, but I haven't been in the town. I was driving through the town coming through. And very interested to see as well Latrobe, home of the Banana Split. So that was something, a little bit of an interesting note as well.
The Indians following the penalty will start at their own 5-yard line. And now Latrobe will call a timeout before we get underway. Their first of the half. High snap, Indians drive ahead for about 3 yards. Arlen Thompson with the carry. McKissick. Quick hitter right side across the 10 out to the 15-yard line, short of the first down. Will be Dante Pollard. He'll pick up about 6 yards. They gave him the first yard. He does get the first down yardage.
Looked like it was maybe going to be just shy, but gave him the spot, and as you said, first down for Penn Hills.
Grimes cuts back to the near side. Didn't have anywhere to go. Turns it up and touchdown. Tony Grimes is off. Penalty flags come flying in behind him. This is going to be for naught, but Grimes is going to go 84 yards for a touchdown. And when he turns around, he's not going to be happy. Indians have the touchdown taken away. Grimes did a nice job of reversing the field when he had nothing in front of him. The penalty result in about 8 yards. It'll be 1st and 18 now for the Indians. Indians come this way. Howard looking for somewhere to go, and Howard has a lane up the sideline. Jamar Howard with no flags behind him will go 92 yards. And the Indians get the touchdown right back.
Howard, 92 yards for the Penn Hills touchdown.
Longest run of the season for the Indians, obviously. 92 yards, touchdown coming with 10:18 to go here in the first half. Indians an extra point away from tying it. Kick is up and through. 10:18 to go, first half. Latrobe 17 or 14. Penn Hills 14. It's been a seesaw battle here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, Dylan.
Yeah, it has been back and forth, and got that early scoring to start things off. It hasn't really slowed down either. It's continued to progress back and forth.
After that touchdown called back on the penalty, the Indians go inside their 10 to the 8-yard line. They seem unfazed. They shot off for 92 yards. Nice to see some of the St. Vincent College Bearcats coaches joining the game up here tonight. Of course, they come right over from right up the street, St. Vincent College. It's nice to see them. My son played there for 4 years with these. Well, played with one of the coaches for 4 years, and played for one of the coaches. It's nice to see Tyler Raw now coaching. And coach. Kickoff taken inside the 10-yard line. Across the 20, out to the 30-yard line, to the 32-yard line.
A couple of Indians, including Jawan Brown, in to make the stop.
Now here's the question. Can the Indians stop Latrobe again? They did at the 1-yard line, but then the next play, the Indians fumble in the end zone and give Latrobe the touchdown.
I think a good thing to keep in mind, like you said, is this Latrobe team has the mindset that yes, we can, we can do it and compete in this conference, and they're showing that right now.
Indian scoring drive was 3 plays, 95 yards. Crosby keeps it himself, gets maybe 2 yards. An update, Franklin Regional up 14-7 over the Plum Mustangs. Crosby will roll to his right. Under pressure, hit as he throws, gets that one away. And they will drop a penalty flag on that. What they're going to call grounding. Nobody was in the area. Penalty flag back at the 21-yard line.
You can credit Donovan Carpenter with forcing that penalty, really, with the pressure that he was able to apply on Crosby, the senior at 6'2", 210 pounds.
So it's a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Latrobe will go from the 32-yard line back to the 16. And it's a loss of down, so now it's 3rd down. About 25, close to 26. Crosby looks left, throws down the sideline, has a man between the defense. It was intended for Cameron Stevens. Well, he was looking for a penalty, nothing called. But he more or less ran into the defensive back, then the other way around. Good no call by the officials. And for the first time tonight, we are going to see a punt. Logan Gustafson, who's been everywhere tonight for the Wildcats, will punt. There's a timeout on the field. 9:17 to go in the half. Did you see who made the time, called the timeout?
I did not. I was looking for the official.
I didn't notice any
signal.
official.
So,
well, according to the big board to our left, it was Penn Hills with the timeout. Because they're now down to 2. Gustafson gets a snap. Nice snap by Tucker Knupp of the Wildcats. Takes a bounce, bobbled, picked up. Bennett looks for somewhere to go. Goes to the right side. Gets some nice blocks from behind. Bennett up the sideline. Still on his feet. Finally out of bounds in Latrobe territory at the 37-yard line. Nice job by Bennett to pick the punt back up and get some yardage out of it. And the Indians will start in Latrobe territory. We're going to say went out at the 37.
good effort there, too, to be on this side of the field, have to go horizontal before to open up a lane to be able to go vertical.
Indians send it this way. Howard, who had the 92-yard touchdown run, will get back to the line of scrimmage. It's actually been an entertaining first half.
It really has. If you think about it and you look at the scoring summary, it's just been back and forth. Every few minutes we're seeing points being put up on the board. No team really with a clear-cut advantage so far.
Grimes goes to the right. 3 receivers set that way. McKissick bobbles the snap and comes this way. Broken play, but McKissick's going to turn it into a first down for the Indians and a big pickup down to the 15-yard line. 23 yards for McKissick. I don't think that was the designed play call. McKissick did a nice job to take that bobbled snap and turn it into a big gain.
Yeah, he just kind of went with it as bobbled off his left hand and took it the whole way for a first down before Nate Stemrich was able to wrestle him out.
McKissick straight drop, looks over the middle, has a man in the end zone, touchdown Penn Hills. Dante Pollard was open into the end zone, and McKissick did a nice job of finding him. And the Indians take their first lead of the night with 8:06 to go here in the first half.
The shootout continues back and forth. McKissick able to find an opening.
Indians go 38 yards in 3 plays. Oh, Indians had some movement on their line. Oh my, it looked like Arlen Thompson moved, but they called it offsides against Latrobe. Indians are going to take it on the kickoff. Silverman to try his third point after. Kick is up. And the kick is through. Silverman 3 for 3 here in the half. 8:06 to go. Penn Hills 21, Latrobe 14 here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Indians' first lead of the season, as a matter of fact. Now we'll see how the Wildcats respond, trailing for the first time here.
Some of the other games going on around 5A tonight in the Allegheny 8 Conference. Bethel Park visiting Woodland Hills. Chartiers Valley at West Allegheny. Upper St. Clair at Peters Township. The conference of which the Wildcats belong in, the Big East Conference, 3 matchups as well. Franklin Regional at Plum, Gateway at Penn Trafford, McKeesport visiting Connellsville. And in the 5A Northern Conference, Hampton and Armstrong, Kiski area at Shaler, and Fox Chapel at North Hills. This game, along with Mars at Moon and Baldwin at Butler, are 5A non-conference games that are going on this evening.
Silverman's kick taken at the 5, dropped at the 5-yard line, picked up, looking for somewhere to go, hit immediately, and the Indians covered that one nicely. Cameron Stevens just did not get a good hold on that ball when it came down. Bobbled it, picked it up, and the Indians were right there to drop him at the 5-yard line. And the Wildcats with their worst field position of the night. Indians take the lead, and you get the kickoff at the 5. Indians blitz. Latrobe does a nice job to get out across the 10 to the 11-yard line. It's Gustafson.
Giving themselves a little bit of breathing room. As you said, able to get off that doorstep.
A lot of folks tuned into tonight's game. Thanks for joining us. Penn Hills and Latrobe. Indians on the blitz are trying to set up the screen, does Latrobe. And Crosby threw that one away. I think Tucker Nutt might have been the intended receiver. But the Indians came quickly.
Derek Topek providing some pressure there, heavy pressure on Crosby.
3rd down and 4 at the 11-yard line. The Indians with their first lead of the night. McKissick, 15-yarder to Pollard. Latrobe will throw this one away again. Under pressure was Crosby. The Indians defense picking it up here. Nate Stemerich was the intended receiver. So no grounding call there. Good call for the Latrobe Wildcats because they were in the end zone. That would have been 2 points for the Indians, but now the punt team comes on for the second straight possession for the Wildcats. The Indians should get good field position here. 7:09 remain. Grimes stays off his knees at the 45-yard line. Looks for a lane up the right sideline. Grimes inside the 30, the 20. Grimes finally out of bounds on a great return to the 15-yard line. So the Indians do indeed get great field position and a chance to pad that lead. Grimes almost broke that one. He had a touchdown pass, 84-yarder called back a while ago here in the second quarter. Following play, Mar Howard, a 92-yard touchdown run. McKissick looks over the middle, throws, pass caught near the goal line. Down to the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal Indians. Dante Pollard with the reception. McKissick toss, right side. Indians do not get in. Yes, they do. Topek fumbled the football, recovered in the end zone by Dom Burdick. Dom Burden with the touchdown, with the fumble recovery in the end zone. Silverman's kick is good. The score now, Penn Hills 28, Latrobe 14. 6:14 remains here in the first half. The Indians and the Wildcats on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
If you're Penn Hills, you're really happy to cash in on that for sure. A good opportunity after trailing for a better part of the first half. Cash in to make it 21-14, and then right away pad that lead off that punt return.
Silverman's kick, taken at the 6-yard line. Wildcats try to set up the wedge, doesn't go very well. Gustafson with the return, Sequoia Featherstone with the tackle. Latrobe will start at their own 17-yard line. The Indians jump off sides, they do. Indians defense starting to get very aggressive. Tough handle on the snap for Crosby. Falls on it. Back at the 17-yard line. They actually lose 6. So it's 2nd down and 11. Latrobe gave that offside penalty right back. Gustafson tries to go left side. The Indians are there. Indians gang tackling now. No gain. It'll bring up 3rd down and 11 now. For the Latrobe. Sequoia Featherstone on the tackle, joined in by Darrell Porter. Crosby rolls this way. Looked like he had trouble on the snap again. The pass completed. Did he haul it in? Yes, they say yes, he did. Cameron Stevens. Looks like we're up just enough for a 1st down.
Had to have been pretty close because he was in the air when he caught it. Momentum was definitely pushing him towards the sideline. And maybe just a foot, but
must have got the 1 foot in. I mean, they are. If he was pushed out of bounds, that's legal. For receivers in the air and the defensive back pushes them out of bounds. Used to be that would give them the play because he was pushed out, but now he's out. So that must have got the foot down. Great play. Gustafson now with the carry for Latrobe. And he gets maybe a yard. Clock rolling under 4.5 to go here in the first half. Penn Hills 28, Latrobe 14. Penn Hills with the last 3 touchdowns in this contest. Both, let's say both teams with the defense. Both teams with their fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. Latrobe's was defensive. Penn Hills was offensive. Crosby goes to keep it himself, and nothing doing there. Johnny on the spot to make the tackle. Jawan Brown. Crosby will lose a yard, and it'll be 3rd and 10. Things were working early for Latrobe. Aren't now.
Scored just 2 minutes into that first quarter. Didn't take much time for them at all, but
second week in a row, the Indians gave up a touchdown on the 4th play of the game. Up goes in motion. Crosby will look that way, throws. Tries to hit the big tight end on the little out pattern, but they're unable to connect. And that'll bring up a 4th down now for the Wildcats. 3:16 remain here in the half. The Indians are going to get the ball again. 2 timeouts left. And the Indians get the ball to start the second half. Penn Hills is able to put some points on the board here. That would be huge for the Indians. Tony Grimes back at his own 41-yard line. Latrobe's kick high, short to the near side and out of bounds. Penn Hills won't get a chance to return it, but they'll get great field position with 3:09 to go in the half. I'm going to say, when out of bounds to 46, there's a penalty flag at the 36. Joe Kulik, the official, comes this way. Personal foul against both teams. It's going to offset. Dead ball, and then the Indians will have it at the 46-yard line. Indians get Keem Snell into the action, who had his first reception of the night down to the 31-yard line to pick up a 15. Indians keeping Latrobe defense honest into the pile is Arlen Thompson. We'll get no gain. Howard, right side, just powers his way inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line. Howard picks up 16. And a first down for the Indians.
Gustafson with the stop for Latrobe, but almost runs right through him, almost bounced off of that tackle.
Bennett to McKissick's right. Twins to the right. Single receiver this way. High snap. McKissick picks it up, looks for somewhere to go, and he'll have a big loss outside the 30-yard line at the 33. 18-yard loss on the play. I think the Indians will use a timeout with 1:01 to go here in the first half. Indians one timeout remaining. Apologize for the glare that you see on the broadcast. Press box here does not have open windows. The AD said we could leave the lights out so we could shoot clearly, but apparently the assistant superintendent overrules him. So we'll do our best to try to limit the glare as best we can. Our camera person Helen doing a great job. Prime example of why press boxes need open windows.
It's interesting. You go somewhere different each week and you never know what you're going to have to work with. And it's one of the challenges of high school football, but it also makes it fun in some environments.
McKissick with an empty set. 3 receivers to the near side. Sets up the wide receiver screen to Tony Grimes. Latrobe does a nice job of covering it for a short gain, a pickup of 4. And it'll be 3rd down now for Penn Hills. Excuse me, penalty flag at the 30-yard line.
'26 Dylan Gustafson limps
Personal foul against Penn Hills.
to the sideline.
Dead ball. Remains 3rd down. The Indians were at the 15-yard line. They're now back at the 46. McKissick steps up in the pocket, looks for somewhere to go. Comes in near side, has some room to run. Inside the 40-yard line, out of bounds at the 35. Be well short of the first down marker. It's 4th down. 24 seconds remain. It would be a 52-yard field goal.
Should have one chance here, but like you said, it's a long ways to go.
It's 4th down. You get a first down at the 5-yard line. I don't think you're thinking first down here. You're going to launch this one up towards the end zone. Or he's trying to do something to move the ball downfield so Latrobe doesn't have an opportunity in the waning seconds of the half.
Could always get a penalty too. And spoke too soon.
That they did. Delay of game. Looked like Latrobe was trying to call a timeout on the near side. But the play clock wind out, and they got a 5-yard penalty. So now we're back to the 40-yard line. Not that it really matters too much at this point. Still need to get inside the 5. It's 4th and 35. McKissick is going to be sacked. Back at the 50-yard line. It's not what you wanted to have in that situation because now you give Latrobe an opportunity with 14 seconds left. An opportunity to launch one downfield. I mean, even McKissick threw it away. You give him the ball at the 40-yard line, it's 10 yards, but first sack of the night for the Wildcats.
Looks like they're the official trying to get the time changed, possibly. 15 seconds is he asking for?
I believe so. That's handled upstairs.
Well, 1 second's not going to make that big of a difference, I wouldn't think. Well, Latrobe does have 2 timeouts.
Gustafson for 4 yards will pad the stat. Was that Gustafson? Or, yeah, it was Dylan. It was Dylan Gustafson. Oh, it was A.J. Rock, excuse me. And Latrobe runs out the clock. After 1 half of play, your score, Penn Hills 28, Latrobe 14. The bands are coming up here at halftime. We'll be back for second half action. You're watching Penn Hills Indians and the Latrobe Wildcats here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. houses on top of Bethel Park.
Gateway and Penn traffic attack. Stay work time.
The more we zoom in, the less glare there is.
reason it doesn't want to print. You know, how the hell do I record that? I'm just going to put it in as a route. I'm going to put it in the stat program that way.
I mean, put it in however you want, but
And I just give him a 1 yard run. He's number 3. Isn't he?
yes.
What, the kid from Latrobe? They knew who recovered the fumble for Latrobe? No idea. You don't really care, do you?
Ask the assistant superintendent. He overrules everything. So.
You're going to be outlawed soon, Jim.
Is that?
They're going to outlaw you soon. You might get suspended. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
I'll go watch my son coach.
I'm only kidding.
I'm just saying, you know.
It's because you're from Penn Hills. I didn't realize you were there. You guys want water?
I think I'm good. I thought I had another one. I'll take one. I'm gonna leave this on here to cool this down.
There you go. You need more than I can roll with the car.
I do have it on. Yeah, I put it on that shelf.
Yeah,
and
usually,
forgot about
sometimes
it.
they send a kid up to help. So I can get him some water. I have to drive him more. All right, Bill, question. They got 3 minutes and then they got 3 minutes to warm up. Right?
Yes. Hey, did you email me the stats?
Yeah, I just did it. They see they open. It's a PDF file. Hopefully they don't. I usually send the HTML. It's not working. Is it open?
I can't open mail.
No. Didn't try it.
Fuck it.
See the head coach or
Head coach? Special teams, the offensive and defensive line.
does he want to continue, coach?
Oh, yeah.
Get into it, yeah. Did he get it or not? Huh? Didn't open. There it is. You want to, you want to take a picture?
Do you have all this?
You want people to, you don't care about the team? Individual?
No, don't. Do you have individual saying?
No, I didn't keep individual.
You want it. All right. Howard got 112.
No, I'm good. Whenever you want.
Second half action about to get underway here at Latrobe's Memorial Stadium with the score Penn Hills 28, Latrobe 14. Some stats, team stats from the first half. Leading rusher for the Penn Hills Indians, Jamar Howard, 5 carries, 112 yards. He had a 92-yard touchdown run to pace the Indians. Leading the way for Latrobe is Logan Gustafson, 7 carries, 87 yards. And Gustafson also had a nice long touchdown run, about 69 yards early in that one. Brandon Crosby for Latrobe, 3 of 7, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. It was a 42-yarder. Eddie McKissick for the Penn Hills Indians, believe it or not, 7 of 7, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's been sacked 1 time. Receiving-wise for the Indians, Dante Pollard has 4 for 48. Tony Grimes, 2 for 16. Both have a touchdown. Keem Snell got in for 1 catch for 15 yards. On the Latrobe side, Dakota Morrison, 1 for 42 and a touchdown. Logan Gustafson has 1 for 18, and Cameron Stevens has 1 for 10 yards. Interesting first half. Dylan Cleveland, the Latrobe Wildcats, up 7-0 on the 4th play of the game. And the Indians come right back and just seesawed right back through until the Indians finally took control late in the second quarter.
It did, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what we saw. Just back and forth, like you said. Take a quick look at the scoring summary from that first half and how we got it, and you're going to see exactly what we said. It was just back and forth. 2 minutes into the game, a 45-yard touchdown pass from Braden Crosby to Morrison, put Latrobe up 7-0. Penn Hills answered back. About 6 minutes and 38 seconds later, that was the 10-yard touchdown pass from McKissick to Grimes. We were 7-7 after the first quarter, which was a very quick quarter. And then the second quarter, both teams kind of settled in a little bit, and the back and forth continued. That was when we saw our 11:45 to go in the second. That's when we saw our first fumble recovery for a touchdown. Put Latrobe up 14-7, but since then it's been all Penn Hills, 3 consecutive touchdowns.
What's interesting on that was we changed sides. Latrobe had a 4th and goal at the 1. The first quarter expired, and they had to travel all the way down to the other end zone from our left to the right. Penn Hills stopped them on 4th down. They didn't allow the stretch at the end of the play, saying the forward progress was stopped. So the Indians had a big lift, stopped Latrobe at the 1-yard line, but on the next play, the Indians gave it right back.
Right, and that's
I mean, in the end zone, gave it right back.
Exactly right. Yeah, and that's what it's. That's. I mean, you talk about literally back and forth, up and down the field, and the way that kind of worked out there. But like I was going to say, it's been all Penn Hills since then. A 92-yard touchdown run from Howard made it 14-14, and then McKissick connects with Paulin for a 15-yard touchdown pass with 8:06 in the second quarter. That made it 21-14, and then we saw another fumble recovery, this time for Penn Hills. And
Dominic Burden, Johnny on the spot. Derek Topek was stopped near the goal line, and it looked like he tried to stretch. Latrobe knocked it loose, but they knocked it into the end zone, and Dom Burden was right there falling on it, and then Dom Burden gets his first career touchdown for the Penn Hills Indians. And that was the final scoring of the half. Interesting on the Howard 92-yard touchdown run. On the play before, Tony Grimes had a scamper for 84-yard touchdown. Got called back because of an illegal block. It pushed the Indians back to the 8-yard line. And the following play, there goes Howard for 92.
And so, Tony Grimes, his is called back. His teammate Howard, he's like, yeah, I'll take care of you, and adds a couple more yards on to his.
Hey, come see, you scored, now watch me go. But the Indians, the offense was finally coming. Late in the half, they kind of stalled things out a little bit on that drive. They had it at the 15-yard line, wound up turning it over back at the 50-yard line. I mean, they went backwards 35 yards. But they get the ball to start half number 2. Had they scored there and gone up, say 35-7, getting the ball to start half number 2, they could have gone down and scored, gone up 42-7, and you get the mercy rule kicked in. But not to be for the Indians, but they do get the ball to start half number 2. Watch this. Sometimes those opportunities to get that clock running come back and bite you. Oh, and for you Penn Hills fans, an exciting note, the Indians were 4 for 4 on extra points kicked. Jonas Silverman, the Indians kicker, booted them all through. Grimes and Bennett back for the Indians at the 10-yard line. Kick will head towards Bennett, and he'll watch it roll out of bounds. Drake Clayton for Latrobe got down there quickly to cover that one. Went out of bounds before he got there. McKissick will bring the Indians to the line. Again, up 28-14 to start half number 2 here. And the Indians go with the reverse to Grimes. Looks for somewhere to go, and a nice defensive play. Kyle Brewer of the Wildcats, who was not fooled, will hold Grimes for a pickup of 1.
Thought they might have had something going on there with that reverse. It looked like Grimes was possibly going to be able to find some open space, but Kyle Brewer stepping in to make the stop.
Grimes, a very dangerous man to get in the open. Snell and Grimes will split to the near side. Noel Roach at the top of your screen. Pistol formation for the Indians. And Latrobe does a nice job to sack them for a loss. Peyton Hrevchek will drop Topek back at the 30-yard line for a loss of 6. So to bring up 3rd and 15 for the Indians, not the way they wanted to have to start. McKissick straight drop, steps up in the pocket, throws one, gets a pass away too high for Grimes out at the 48-yard line. McKissick did a nice job to get the ball there. He has an arm, but just a bit too high for the 5'9" Grimes, who made a gallant effort to try to go up and get it. But it'll bring up 4th down for the Indians, and they will now, for the first time tonight, punt.
Haven't had to see that much from the first punt we saw from Latrobe. That was pretty late in the half.
It was indeed. McKissick does the punting. Josh Zambito scampers to the sideline for the Indians. And the Indians will have to use a timeout as the play clock was winding down. Now I have 2 left for the half. Clock is stopped with 10:32 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Couple halftime scores: North Hills 14, Fox Chapel 6, Baldwin 28, Butler 7. I think I saw 21-7 Franklin Regional over Plum. Woodland Hills 16, Bethel Park 14. It's tied 21-21 out at West Allegheny. The Colts of Chartiers Valley and West A.
McKissick will punt from inside his own 20. Takes a snap, has a little bit of pressure. There's a nice booming kick. Taken at the 26-yard line. Fair catch made by Logan Gustafson. Hit the 27. McKissick can throw and McKissick can punt. Latrobe will take over with 10:25 to go in the 3rd. Mark him at the 27. Option left, nothing is there for Crosby. Looks like he'll lose yards back inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. It's a loss of 4. Crosby loses the hand of the snap, but it's on the field. The Indians pick it up. Touchdown, Penn Hills. Derek Topek picks it up and rolls into the end zone. I would call it about a 10-yard fumble return. It was rolling around out there. Indians extend the lead now 34-14. Luke Puglisi comes out to join the fray. Indians fake it. Grimes looks for somewhere to go, throws the ball away. I'm not sure if that was intentional. But the Indian streak of 4 extra points in a row ends. But with 9:31 to go in the third quarter, the score now, Penn Hills 34, Latrobe 14.
I guess after that fumble, you can say you're starting to see the turnovers play a factor. I mean, we did have the 2 earlier as well, but, with another fumble recovery for a touchdown, it's allowing the Penn Hills lead to widen.
Latrobe and Penn Hills exchange defensive touchdowns. Second fumble return for a touchdown tonight for the Indians. Don Burdens was on an offensive play. Now the Indians will be kicking off back at their own 25-yard line. Nice kickoff by Silverman inside the 15-yard line. Picked up, dropped. Now Latrobe tries to return it. And they'll only get out to about the 26-yard line. Nice coverage by the Indians. The fumble not helping the Wildcats on the kickoff. They've done it on a couple of kickoffs tonight.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times. It's obviously you never know. Sometimes it's hard to judge a kick, but that was a pretty solid kick. So I'm not sure. Just not quite situated back there in the sufficient time, I guess.
Maybe there's some English on those kickoffs from Silberman. Latrobe stays on the ground. Rock left side into a pile of Indians, will lose 2 yards. Wildcats go on the reverse, and the Indians were right there. Dylan Bennett with the exclamation point on the tackle. Cameron Stevens only picks up maybe a yard. Again, pick up a 2, call it 3rd and 10.
After allowing those first 14 points for Latrobe, to Latrobe, the Penn Hills defense has really stepped up and made some big plays.
Under pressure, gets the pass away, complete. Tucker Nupp will have the first down, and looks like possibly more flags come flying in. Gets out to the 38-yard line. And a face mask call against the Indians is going to tack on some more yardage. Rock again, left side. Loses the football, and the Indians recover at the... Oh, they're calling him down. We say he was down at the 43-yard line.
Ball came firing out of there, towards the far sideline. Thought it was going to be an opportunity for turnover, but not to be.
Well, they rolled him down. To be honest, I did think he was down, so I don't think there's any controversy to that call. Rock again with the bundle, picks up about another 3, maybe 4 yards. Gabe Snell comes up and makes a tackle for Penn Hills. 34-14 Indians, 6:20 on the running clock here in the third quarter. Penn Hills and Latrobe at Memorial Stadium in Latrobe, the birthplace of professional football. Rock, the workhorse, fights his way close to a first down. See where they spot him. They'll get either 3 or 2. They're going to call 4th down to give them 2.
A couple of Indians on to make the stop.
Wildcats will go for it. They trail by 20. Rock does not get the first down. The Indians' defense holds. No, the Indians will take over on downs, indeed. And the 5:15 to go here in the third. Indians still up by 20. They will take over at their own 37-yard line. Second time tonight, Latrobe was stymied on a 4th and short. Now for the Indians, they hope that this is one play here does not result in a Latrobe touchdown, as did the prior time. McKissick will throw quickly, has a man, Snell, to the Latrobe 49-yard line, 15 yards.
Nate Stemrich in to make the stop, but not before Penn Hills is able to move across midfield. With that clock winding down to under 5 here in the third, another big chance for Penn Hills to continue to build onto that lead.
Latrobe led 14-7. It's now 34-14 Penn Hills. McKissick pass short for Burden on the near side. Only the second incompletion of the night for McKissick. He's 8 of 10. Indians are not playing kill the clock. They're playing for blood, apparently. They want to get some more points on the board, open things up even further. Pitch, Grimes, near side, looking for somewhere to go. Grimes into the secondary will have a first down for Penn Hills to the 37-yard line. 12-yard scamper for Tony Grimes.
Cam Stevens in for the stop.
Indians get a first down. Bill Navari along with Dylan Cleland here at Memorial Stadium in Latrobe, Penn Hills, and Latrobe Wildcats. Indians up 34-14, 4:15 clock running to go here in the third quarter. Thanks for joining us on a beautiful night for football here in Western Pennsylvania. Topek for a yard. I think in the back of the mind, the Indians are starting to think clock management here.
Yeah, I think for sure you have to think you want to run some of that down. You have a 20-point lead, and you know you can add to it too, but you don't want that clock to stop for sure. You want to keep it moving.
Jamar Howard behind McKissick. That was Grimes in motion. We'll pass that way too. Grimes, wide receiver screen. Shake and bake. Grimes with the first down. In the secondary, Grimes inside the 20-yard line. First down, Penn Hills to the 18. 18 yards for Tony Grimes. And another Penn Hills Indian first down.
Well, that's one way to do it both. Keep the clock moving and start moving towards the end zone to possibly build on that lead.
Again, Howard behind McKissick. Burden and Roach to the right. McKissick looks like a broken play. Tries to get something. Will get pushed out of bounds. We'll lose about 3 yards. Important thing for Penn Hills was McKissick didn't try to force something and lose the football. Howard Penalty flag comes in. He'll get inside the 15, inside the 10. Dives inside the 5, but looks like this one's going to come back. Penalty flag at the 22-yard line. Officials move it back to the 23. In spite of the current flag, it's actually been a very clean football game. There have been penalties.
So 2 holdings, looks like, is what we have.
So they move back to the 33-yard line, so it's about a 13-yard penalty. So it'll be 2nd and 15. Excuse me, 2nd and 25. McKissick looking, steps up in the pocket, throws, pass complete, right side, down to the 25-yard line. It's Dante Pollard.
Good to see the patience there from McKissick. Able to wait. The offensive line doing a nice job of giving him some time and then being able to deliver that pass.
Picked up 8 yards. Now it's 3rd and 17. If the Indians, you try to get the first down or just maybe move something into Silverman's field goal range. And Penn Hills will call a timeout as the play clock was winding down. 1:52 to go in the 3rd. Penn Hills 34, Latrobe 14. You're watching the WPIAL on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Penn Hills will be home next Friday night, take on Fox Chapel. And Latrobe, I think will be at Franklin. They'll be going right up Route 22 to Franklin Regional. The last we heard was Leading Plum. Kissick. Downfield has a man behind the defense inside the 5. Looks like a touchdown for Penn Hills, and it is. Second touchdown of the game for Dominic Burden. Indians now up 40-14. Indians will go for 1. The kick is up and through. 1:46 to go in the 3rd. Penn Hills 41. Latrobe 14. Late here in the 3rd, the Indians now comfortably ahead.
It's amazing looking at this scoring summary, just the way things started out, and Penn Hills consecutive touchdowns, now 5 in a row to tie it. That was back in the second at 14, and just build this lead now to 41-14.
So you folks watching at home enjoying tonight's game? At least you Penn Hills fans are. That Silverman will put this one into the end zone. Penn Hills coaches will take that every time. Put it in the end zone. No return. The opponent starts at the 20. Peters Township up 16-7 over Upper St. Clair. Latrobe loses the football, and Crosby falls on it. I think they're trying to go to Dakota Morrison. Peters Township is on top of Upper St. Clair 23-13. Crosby will throw, launches one down the sideline as a man behind the defense, and it's picked off by Snell. Snell with some blockers in front. No, excuse me. That's Noel Roach up the sideline. He'll get in for the touchdown. It'll be a penalty flag, though, back at the about 15-yard line. Noel Roach will get the interception. Almost the second defensive touchdown of the night for the Indians. Indians will take over with 52 seconds to go in the half. And they will start at the Latrobe 30. If I'm coach at first point, I go end zone.
I do. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think so. I mean, at this point right now, you've built yourself a substantial lead that you can afford to take a chance like that if something were to not, if you would have an interception or a penalty. But I think the positive there greatly outweighs the possible consequences. If you can get that clock to continue to run quickly in the fourth quarter, by all means do so.
Indians are going to have to move quickly to get this play off. Play clock under 5. And they do. Arlen Thompson to the 24-yard line for a pickup of 6.
Brewer and Gustafson on the stop there. 2 names we've heard multiple times tonight.
Indians will have to run another play here, and can't let the quarter run out. 6-second difference in the play clock and the game clock. Pistol formation with Topek deep. Thompson to McKissick's right. And it'll be Thompson again. He's wrapped up immediately, but we'll get to the back to the line of scrimmage. We'll actually lose a yard. It'll bring up a 3rd and 5 when we come back for quarter number 4. After 3, Penn Hills 41, Latrobe 14. You are watching the WPIAL on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Yeah, it looks like the Wildcats jump off sides. That will give Penn Hills a first down. And Latrobe will use a timeout before we even call a play here. Run a play here in the fourth quarter.
Something to keep in mind, too, for Penn Hills, if they want to get to that mercy roll, the touchdown, an extra point would not get them there. They would need to go for 2, which they did attempt once earlier this game, and they were unsuccessful on.
Not sure that was a planned go for 2. But, I mean, if you score a touchdown here, would that be disrespectful to go for 2?
I don't know. It depends what it depends what you're thinking of. Do you want the, I mean, if you want, I completely see your side and where you're coming from. But, however, do you want the clock to continue to run and really take away all chances of what would be a miraculous comeback at this
if I'm
point?
Penn Hills, I want to go for 2 and get the clock running and get out of here. It's a long ride home. I mean, if I'm Latrobe, my thinking is, they're going to be up 47-14, and they're going to go for 2. I mean, I remember back in the day, at this point, Neil Gordon would take a knee on an extra point.
Yeah, I mean, things have changed. People think, and it's going to vary from coach to coach too, depending on what the situation is that you have.
Indians keep it on the ground, looking for somewhere to go, coming this way. Still on his feet, cutting it back. Karan Collins. They have no gain. Oh, maybe a yard. Well, the Indians are getting the clean jerseys in. Collins again was loose on the handle on the exchange, but Collins keeps it down to the 16-yard line for a gain of 3. Collins, freshman.
Alex Aiello in for the stop.
Kisson and Thompson direct Collins to go to the right side. And the Indians use too much time. Indians hit with that a couple of times tonight. So they need to look at a 3rd and 11 from the 21. McKissick will throw, has a man, throws behind. Sutherland Pearson. And are the Indians going to try a field goal?
Looks to be.
Yes, they are. They're going to try a 38-yard field goal. Well, he was making 50-yarders in practice. Gets the kick up. And he kicks it just wide. It was a low snap. So I'm not sure if Tony Grimes was able to get a good hold up for Silverman to get the kick away. It had the distance.
It did.
But it just went off to the left a little bit over there. And Latrobe will take over with 10-11 to go in the contest at their own 20-yard line. Rock looks for somewhere to go, and all he sees is entire Indian Nation. He'll lose a yard back to the 19-yard line. Rock for 3.
Derek Topek in to make the stop.
It'll be 3rd and 8. Clock continues to run. Swing pass, right side, Rock. Looks for somewhere to go, and there is nowhere to go. Except back to the line of scrimmage. And it'll bring up a 4th down, and Latrobe will have to punt again.
Another solid effort from the Penn Hills defense. Again, they gave those 14 points up early within the first 13 minutes of the game, first quarter, and then 15 seconds into that second quarter. And since then, they've been able to shut down Latrobe.
Keem Snell back at his own 40-yard line. Dangerous returner is Snell. Gusterson gets the kick away. And unable to be returned as he kicks it out of bounds. And they'll mark him at the 45-yard line. Penn Hills will take over with 8:06 to go. A 27-point lead, and the ball with the Latrobe 45. Now we're all starting to see the clean jerseys, if you will, for Penn Hills. Justin Posey splits to the near side with Jaden Duggar. And the Indians keep it on the ground. And it's Collins for about 3. I think we're going to see a heavy dose of the Indian ground game.
I would agree. Continue to keep the clock run. No reason to force anything more at this point. Save some points for the home opener next week for the Indians.
Indians will be retiring Tommy Flynn's jersey next Friday night, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the 79 Indians. Broken play there. A 7-yard loss. So the Indians are having a reunion of the 70s Indians, the 76, 77, 78, and 79 championships. And will be retiring the number 5 of Tommy Flynn. Sutherland Pearson splits to the near side, along with Jaden Duggar. McKissick gets the pass away as he's hit, intended for Pearson. And the pass incomplete will bring up a 4th down, but it does stop the clock at 6:27 to go.
Dylan Gustafson in to break that one up a little bit.
Now McKissick will come in and punt. McKissick takes a low snap and booms another one. Fair catch called for and made by Cameron Stevens at the 15-yard line. A few pleasantries exchanged.
Flag way back here. Way back at the end of the play.
That's going to go against Penn Hills.
North Hills and Fox Chapel tied 21-21.
Penn Hills will see Fox Chapel next Friday night. Dylan Bennett comes in motion this way. McKissick gets the kick away, short. Not sure if anybody got a paw on that or not, but it will go out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Turns out to be a 25-yard penalty. Latrobe had it at the 15, forced Penn Hills to re-kick, and now they have it at the 40. 6:15 left here in this contest. Pass intended for Nupp. Fortunately for Latrobe, as the ball's popped in the air, it does fall incomplete. Crosby, straight drop, throws, pass, complete for Nupp. Gets across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Picks up about 7. Toe pick on the tackle for Penn Hills. Clock at 5:50 and running. Latrobe trails by 30. Crosby swing pass right side for Nupp. Hit as soon as he catches. It'll be short of the first down. Nupp did a nice job of catching it. Juwan Jones with the tackle. It's 4th and 1. Clock will roll under 5 minutes to go here in the 4th. Penn Hills 41, Latrobe 14.
Latrobe has not been able to get anything going, and that's really been the story of the game, Bill. When you think about it, it's they got those 14 points early and haven't been able to do much of anything offensively since.
And Latrobe will use a timeout with 4:41 to go here in the 4th. Not sure what they want to talk over, but maybe they saw defense they didn't like. They're 0 for 2 on 4th down conversions in this game. They're certainly not looking for the hat trick here. Well, for Penn Hills anyway, only 3 road trips remain this season. 2 of them are hauls, though. Kiski and Armstrong.
I'd work over that, so that's easy.
That's not bad. Get them out of the way. Get your first 2 and a couple of weeks at home.
And Latrobe will go 0 for 3, but a penalty flag comes in. Gustafson with the handoff. If it goes against the Indians, it'll be a first down. It'll be a face mask. And it will give a first down to Latrobe. Just a 5-yard variety. Ball moved to the Penn Hills 46-yard line. Clock is rolling under 4.5 to go. Crosby rolls this way, throws across his body. Pass was intended for Cameron Stevens, and a couple of penalty flags come in. There'll be a pass interference call against the Indians. The 15 yards will result in a first down. Crosby looks left, stumbles, pressure from behind. And he will not be able to get the pass away. The Indians are going to tackle him inbounds at the 27-yard line. Excuse me, the 34. 33.
Jawan Brown and Featherstone both in on that tackle.
See former Indian Harrison Bash on the sideline, taking in tonight's game. He's attending Pitt Greensburg, so he's right down the road. And Latrobe will use their final timeout. Coming with 3:13 to go here in the fourth quarter. Penn Hills up 41-14. So what do these teams take from tonight, Dylan?
Let's start with Penn Hills. I think that the Indians pick up a good win, a feel-good win for sure, a convincing one after a 21-0 loss last week to Pine Richland that I agree with you when you said looks a lot worse than what it actually was. It was Pine Richland jumping out to that early lead last week, and Penn Hills just not quite able to get anything going, but this week, a completely different story, and it didn't look that way, to be honest with you, when we started. It was very seesaw for a while, back and forth, and then really since the midway point of the second quarter, it's been all Penn Hills, and I think that's a big confidence booster for the offense, big confidence booster for Eddie McKissick, who just making his second career start tonight. So that's good moving forward. And then for Latrobe, you've got to keep working. You're going to have to keep plugging away. It's a tough 5A that they're playing in, and it's going to take some more than what they were able to do tonight.
Crosby's pass, looked like it was caught inside the 5. Well, unable to hold on to it was Nate Stemmerich. Brings up a 3rd and 12. I think the important thing for Penn Hills was early in this game, they gave up the touchdown on the 4th play, and then they go down 14. They come back and they go down 14-7. They didn't panic.
Right.
They stuck with the program and kept doing what they did, and they just took control of the game from that point on. Crosby steps up in the pocket. Now he's going to take off running. And we'll go out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Bethel Park comes back to beat Woodland Hills 29-16. Pass picked off. No, Roach gets it for the Indians. Will go out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Interception coming with 2:50 to go in this contest. And Penn Hills now with an opportunity to run this one out. Char Valley up 31-28 over West Allegheny with 3.5 to play.
It's been a good game. I've been seeing the scores back. It's been back and forth there as well.
A lot of parity in 5A this year. Peters Township 29-21 over Upper St. Clair. 9 minutes to go in the fourth.
Franklin Regional 35, Plum 7 after 3 quarters.
Collins will lose 4. I think at this point, I think Penn Hills will take a loss on 3 running plays just to keep the clock running here. New quarterback in is Naylor. And Naylor will get dropped back for a loss of 3.
Well, that's exactly what you said, and at this point, there's no reason to push anything for sure. Keep that clock moving.
Clock at 1:45 and running. Indians could actually probably get this close to a minute or under a minute before they have to punt it back.
Right now, North Hills and Fox Chapel were tied 21-21. So Fox Chapel, as you mentioned, coming to Penn Hills next week. Something to keep an eye on.
Brendan Hill now in the backfield. He'll get his first carry of the season. Holds on to the football, gets no gain. But the Indians, I'm sure, will take all 40 seconds of the play clock. I mean, you're at the 5-yard line. Let it all run out. Take to half the distance to the goal penalty. To mark you to 3.
Yes, back and up to the 3, but you're only going to have 30 seconds, 35 seconds.
There's a key, though. After they reset it, will they start the clock again? And the Indians will, in fact, let the play clock wind out. Oh, they'll use a timeout. Why not? Can't take any. You can't save any for next week. I still have 1 left. 36 seconds remain here in the contest. Penn Hills up 41-14. What's that?
Seneca's beating Central 7-3.
Wow, Seneca Valley on top of Central Catholic.
Mount Lebanon 42-21 over Cannon Mac this evening. Moon with a hefty lead on Mars, 36-14. It might have gone final.
Wow. As we see the doorknob. Nothing we can do about it. Punt away for the Indians. Rolls. Picked up by Stevens at the 45-yard line. Penalty flag comes in. And Stevens will go down at the 38-yard line. 22 seconds remain in this one.
Latrobe will head to Franklin Regional next week, and then they will be back here on the September 13th to host Gateway. After Penn Hills hosts Fox Chapel next Friday, they will also be home on the 13th. So back-to-back home games for the Indians upcoming.
So the Wildcats will have a play or two here from the 25-yard line, depending on what they do.
How about, you said Chartiers Valley 31-28 over West A was your last update. West Allegheny scored late, and that game has gone final, 35-31.
Wow. Gustafson inside the 20 to the 19-yard line for a pickup of 6. Latrobe with the hurry up. We're going to try to get another playoff here. And they do. It'll be the final play of the game. Crosby throwing towards the end zone. Had a man open, but the pass overthrown. Dakota Morrison was the man in the corner of the end zone, but time will expire. And your final score, Penn Hills 41, Latrobe 14. The Indians 1-1 on the season. If you don't count week 0, 1-0. But they're 1-1. Latrobe also now at 1-1. For the second week in a row, the Indians gave up a touchdown on the 4th play of the game. Crosby to Morrison, a 42-yard touchdown pass. Latrobe led 7-0. The Indians came right back, a 12-play, 69-yard drive in 6.5 minutes. McKissick to Grimes, 13 yards. We were knotted at 7. And then we had a turn of events there, Dylan. Latrobe went for it on the first play of the second quarter, 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Penn Hills stuffs them. The Indians take over at the 1-yard line, but then it didn't turn out the way they quite wanted there, did it?
No, it did not. And again, it was those 14 points. I know we keep saying that, but it was really those first 13 minutes of the game where Latrobe looked like, okay, we can hang with Penn Hills. We're gonna see what we can do, and then after that, really it was that 92-yard run by Howard that just kind of not only tied things up at 14, but then led to things kind of bursting open. And we saw that kind of transpire throughout the rest of the second and into the third quarter.
As we mentioned, Latrobe, a fumble recover in the end zone following the 4th down stop by the Indians. They went up 14-7. There was a long pass to Anthony Grimes, who made a very nice play, 84 yards. He went for a touchdown. Got called back. Penalty marked the Indians back to the 8-yard line. On the following play, Howard, a 92-yard run. Indians up 14. Indians go up 21. Their first lead of the season. McKissick to Pollard, a 15-yard reception. That coming with 8:06 to go in the half. Latrobe goes 3 and out. Penn Hills gets the ball back. Derek Topek near the goal line gets stripped of the ball. It rolls into the end zone. Dom Burden falls on it for the Penn Hills touchdown. The Indians up 28-14 at halftime. 2 touchdowns by the Indians. Topek, a 10-yard fumble return. The Indians defense scores. They're up 34-14. And then Dom Burden gets his second touchdown of the game. This one via a pass from Eddie McKissick, 25 yards. The Indians close out the scoring 41-14. And the Indians rebounded nicely from that loss last week at Pine Richland.
Yeah, they did. They did for sure. And again, it's a long season, and it's definitely a good confidence win for Penn Hills after last week, and really coming off of the high of the state championship last season into that Week 0 matchup. Week 0 is a good opportunity to just kind of get things worked out, and you can see that they figured out what needed to be worked out, worked on it this week leading up to this game, and they were able to take care of things in a pretty handily fashion here at Latrobe this evening.
The Latrobe Wildcats, you look at their roster, you see a lot of 9s, 10s, and 11s on that roster. A very young football team. Brandon Crosby, their quarterback. He's a senior, though, one of the few seniors out there. The Gustafson brothers, they're both juniors. But a young squad, and a lot of things were working for Latrobe, but the Indian defense was just too much for them tonight. But yet, Latrobe can come out of this with some positives.
Yeah, I definitely think you have to look at the quarterback to start. Braden Crosby, he's last week had a really good Week 0 and looked good coming out here tonight for a little bit too, but you could tell that the defense of Penn Hills got to him with the linebackers coming through. They were able to move through and penetrate well, and so that's something that they might not have seen last week against Derry that you can work on this week now, facing a 5A opponent, someone a little bit more at your level. And so I think that was one of the things that you have to take away. You have to say that you feel confident in him moving forward. But otherwise, there are other positives to take away. I mean, they were able to put some points up, and I'm telling you, that first quarter they looked good.
They did. They looked very good in that first quarter.
And so, I think that those are a couple things that they can take away from today and think about before they really dive into conference play next week.
And for the Indians, other notes from last week, their offensive line played much better, gave McKissick some time to throw the football. The running game came through for the Indians tonight. So the Indians certainly maybe not at the level they were last season at this time, but yet the Indians looking good as well. The Indians will be home next Friday night against the Fox Chapel Foxes, and the Latrobe Wildcats will travel up Route 22 to take on the Franklin Regional Panthers. For my broadcast partner, Dylan Cleland, I'm Bill Navari. Your final score from out here at Latrobe: Penn Hills 41, Latrobe Wildcats 14. Thank you for watching the WPIAL on the Trib Live